First contact in the Crimson Nebula. The vast expanse of the Crimson Nebula stretched before the Horizon Explorer like an endless canvas of swirling crimson and deep purple. Dr. Zara Rivik adjusted the ship's quantum scanners, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface with practiced precision. Something about today felt different, a subtle tension that made the fine hairs on the back of her neck stand on end. 12 years of xenobiological research had taught Zara to trust her instincts. The Horizon Explorer was humanity's most advanced deep space research vessel, equipped with technologies that pushed the boundaries of scientific exploration. Its mission, to map uncharted regions of space and search for signs of intelligent life. Dr. Rivik, we're detecting an anomalous energy signature, called out Naveen Kumar, the ship's lead sensor technician. His voice carried a mix of excitement and uncertainty. It doesn't match any known stellar or planetary emissions. Zara moved closer to the primary display, her emerald green eyes narrowing as she analyzed the data. The energy signature pulsed with an irregular rhythm, almost like a heartbeat, but distinctly artificial. Magnify Sector 7 Gamma, she commanded. The holographic display expanded, revealing a complex molecular structure that seemed to shimmer and shift. It was unlike anything Zara had ever encountered in her years of research. The pattern suggested intelligence, but not in any form humanity had previously documented. Run a full spectral analysis, Zara instructed. Cross-reference with our xenobiology database. Naveen's fingers flew across the control panel. No matches, Doctor. The molecular composition is, well, it's impossible. Some elements appear to be simultaneously in multiple quantum states. A low hum began to resonate through the ship's hull. The lights flickered momentarily, and the quantum scanners erupted with a burst of incomprehensible data. Zara gripped the edge of the control panel, her scientific curiosity battling with a primal sense of uncertainty. Incoming transmission, announced Elena Rodriguez, the ship's communication specialist. But it's not using any known communication protocol. The ship's main screen erupted with a complex geometric pattern, shifting, pulsing, almost alive. It wasn't just a message. It was a living communication, a language that seemed to exist beyond traditional linguistic boundaries. Zara's heart raced. First contact. Not the dramatic space battles from old science fiction movies, but something far more profound and mysterious. Whatever was attempting to communicate was intelligent, but so fundamentally different from human comprehension that traditional communication seemed impossible. Are we receiving or are we being received? Zara muttered, more to herself than to her crew. The geometric patterns began to stabilize, forming intricate structures that seemed to pulse with an internal rhythm. Naveen's instruments went wild, recording data points that defied conventional scientific understanding. The molecular structure, Naveen said, his voice trembling, it's responding to our ship's quantum field. It's adapting. Zara realized they were witnessing something unprecedented. This wasn't just a transmission. This was a living, adaptive communication system that was learning, changing, reaching out. Maintain passive scanning, she ordered. Do not initiate any active communication protocols. We need to observe and understand. As the Crimson Nebula continued to swirl outside, the Horizon Explorer hung suspended in a moment of extraordinary potential. Humanity stood on the precipice of a discovery that could redefine everything they understood about intelligence, communication, and the nature of life itself. Little did they know, this was just the beginning of a journey that would challenge everything they believed about their place in the universe. Echoes of a distant conflict. 3 standard cycles had passed since the initial contact in the Crimson Nebula. The geometric communication patterns had evolved, gradually revealing fragments of a complex narrative that defied human comprehension. Dr. Zara Rivik sat in the specially constructed communication chamber of the Horizon Explorer, her neural interface humming softly as she processed the alien transmissions. The geometric patterns had transformed into something resembling a language, not words, but an intricate dance of quantum information that seemed to carry historical and emotional depth. "We're picking up contextual fragments," Naveen explained, monitoring the quantum translators. "It appears to be a narrative of conflict, but the concept of conflict is entirely different from our understanding." The ship's diplomatic liaison, Commander Krell Novak, leaned forward. His background in xenolinguistics made him crucial to interpreting the alien communication. "These aren't just data points," he murmured. "It's more like a living memory." Suddenly, the chamber erupted with a burst of crystalline images. Zara gasped as complex three-dimensional scenes materialized around them, a civilization caught in a multidimensional struggle. Massive energy constructs that seemed part machine, part living organism battled across what appeared to be fractal landscapes of impossible geometry. "They're showing us their history," Zara whispered. "But it's not a linear narrative. It's simultaneous. Past, present, and potential futures are all interconnected." The images revealed a species that existed beyond traditional biological constraints. They were energy-based entities that could manipulate quantum states, their conflict more akin to a complex negotiation of existential possibilities than a war as humans understood it. Commander Novak's neural interface began to resonate with the transmission. "They're trapped," he said, his voice distant. "Caught in a recursive conflict that threatens their entire existential framework." A specific image crystallized, a massive energy construct that seemed to be simultaneously breaking apart and reforming. Around it, countless smaller entities swirled in a complex dance of destruction and creation. "It's a metaphysical conflict," Zara realized. "They're fighting to prevent a fundamental collapse of their reality's structural integrity." Naveen's instruments went into overdrive. "The energy requirements to maintain this communication are astronomical. They're literally burning through quantum potentials to reach us." The transmission carried an underlying plea, a request for intervention, for understanding. But the method of communication was so alien that traditional diplomatic approaches seemed laughably inadequate. Commander Novak turned to Zara, his eyes intense. "We're not just receiving a message. We're being asked to participate in something beyond our current understanding of existence." The Horizon Explorer hung suspended in the Crimson Nebula, humanity's first representatives in a conflict that transcended known dimensions of reality. The geometric patterns continued to pulse, each moment revealing more of a story that challenged everything they knew about life, conflict, and communication. Something was coming. And humanity was about to be drawn into a struggle that would redefine the very nature of their existence. The Quantum Cipher. Dr. Liam Brennan's fingers moved like lightning across the quantum interface, his mind racing faster than the complex algorithms materializing before him. The transmission from the Crimson Nebula had become more than a mystery, it was a challenge that consumed every waking moment of his existence. "I've found a pattern," he muttered, addressing the holographic projections surrounding his isolated research station. The facility, buried deep within the Andromeda Research Complex, hummed with the energy of breakthrough potential. The quantum cipher was unlike any communication protocol ever conceived. Traditional decryption methods were useless. This was something entirely different, a living language that existed in multiple quantum states simultaneously. Zara Revik's transmission had arrived 3 weeks ago, accompanied by fragments of data that defied conventional scientific understanding. Most researchers would have called it impossible. Liam saw it as the greatest intellectual challenge of his career. "The communication isn't linear," he explained to the empty room, his voice echoing through the sterile research environment. "It's a quantum entanglement of information, where each fragment contains multiple potential meanings." A breakthrough emerged as he realized the transmission was more than a message, it was a complex problem-solving mechanism. The alien entities were not just communicating, they were testing humanity's cognitive capabilities. The quantum interface began to pulse with an unexpected rhythm. Liam's neural link vibrated, sending cascades of information through his consciousness. He was no longer just observing the transmission, he was becoming part of it. Fragments of the alien civilization's conflict began to take shape. They were caught in a multidimensional struggle that threatened their entire existential framework. More importantly, they were seeking a mediator, a consciousness capable of understanding their complex predicament. "It's a cipher," Liam whispered, "but not of information. It's a cipher of potential realities." His breakthrough came with a stunning realization. The alien transmission was a test, a way to determine if humanity possessed the cognitive flexibility to comprehend their existential crisis. The quantum interface erupted with a burst of crystalline data. Liam's neural link integrated the information, revealing a glimpse of a solution. The conflict wasn't about destruction, but about maintaining the structural integrity of multiple potential realities. "We're not just receiving a message," he recorded in his log. "We're being invited to participate in a fundamental restructuring of existential possibilities." The research complex's security systems suddenly went on high alert. The quantum transmission was no longer contained within Liam's research interface. It was spreading, adapting, seeking additional cognitive pathways. Humanity stood on the precipice of a discovery that would challenge everything they understood about communication, consciousness, and the nature of reality itself. Something was coming. And Dr. Liam Brennan was about to become the key to understanding it. Shadows of the Void. The galactic diplomatic nexus erupted in chaos. Admiral Elena Rodriguez stood at the holographic strategy table, her weathered hands tracing the complex quantum projections that mapped the emerging conflict. Dr. Liam Brennan's quantum cipher had changed everything. What began as a mysterious transmission from the Crimson Nebula had transformed into humanity's most critical diplomatic challenge. "The quantum entanglement is expanding," Liam reported, his neural interface projecting intricate geometric patterns across the chamber. "These aren't just communication signals. They're potential reality matrices." Commander Krell Novak, the alien diplomatic liaison, looked increasingly troubled. The geometric patterns revealed a conflict far more complex than traditional warfare, a multidimensional struggle that threatened the very fabric of existential reality. "Our civilization is a single thread in a massive quantum tapestry," Krell explained. "The conflict we're witnessing is about preventing a fundamental collapse of potential realities." Admiral Rodriguez's strategic mind worked overtime. Military intervention was impossible. This wasn't a conflict that could be resolved with weapons or traditional diplomatic negotiations. The quantum transmission began to pulse more intensely. Locations across human-controlled space started experiencing bizarre quantum fluctuations, momentary shifts in physical reality where probability itself seemed to warp and bend. A research station near Jupiter disappeared, then reappeared moments later in a slightly different configuration. Communication arrays on Mars began transmitting fragments of impossible geometries. "We're being tested," Liam realized. "The alien entities are probing our cognitive capabilities, our ability to comprehend and potentially mediate their conflict." The diplomatic chamber filled with a complex holographic representation of the conflict. It wasn't a battle in any traditional sense, but an intricate negotiation of existential possibilities. Massive energy constructs that were simultaneously machines and living entities danced in impossible patterns. Krell's translation became more urgent. "They're seeking a consciousness capable of understanding the fundamental paradox of their existence. A mediator who can perceive multiple realities simultaneously." Admiral Rodriguez recognized the stakes. This was beyond a diplomatic mission. Humanity was being invited to participate in a fundamental restructuring of reality itself. The quantum cipher continued to expand, drawing more human consciousness into its complex network. Each moment brought them closer to a breakthrough that would redefine their understanding of existence. Something extraordinary was about to happen. And humanity would never be the same. Convergence. The moment of resolution arrived not with a thunderous declaration, but with a subtle quantum shift that rippled across multiple realities. Dr. Zara Rivik, Dr. Liam Brennan, Commander Krell Novak, and Admiral Elena Rodriguez stood at the epicenter of a breakthrough that would redefine existence itself. The quantum cipher had transformed from a mysterious transmission into a bridge between consciousness and reality. Liam's breakthrough came through an impossible insight: the conflict was not about destruction, but about preservation. The alien entities existed in a state of perpetual negotiation, maintaining the delicate balance of potential realities. "We're not just observers," Zara realized. "We're participants in a cosmic conversation." The geometric patterns that had once seemed incomprehensible now revealed themselves as a complex language of potential, each shape a negotiation of existential possibilities. Humanity's unique cognitive flexibility had become the key to resolving a conflict that had threatened multiple dimensional frameworks. Commander Krell provided the critical translation. The alien civilization existed across multiple quantum states, constantly navigating potential conflicts that could unravel their entire existential fabric. Their communication was both a warning and an invitation, a chance to prevent a fundamental collapse of reality itself. Admiral Rodriguez understood the strategic implications. This was beyond diplomacy. This was a fundamental preservation of existence. The quantum interface began to stabilize. Realities that had been warping and shifting began to settle into a new, more stable configuration. The complex energy constructs that had been locked in their recursive conflict started to realign. "We're creating a new framework of understanding," Liam said, his neural interface pulsing with the intricate quantum patterns. The resolution was not a victory in any traditional sense. It was a collaborative recalibration, a mutual understanding that transcended individual perspectives. Humanity had become more than just an observer. They were now a critical component in maintaining the delicate balance of existential possibilities. As the final quantum thread settled, a new understanding emerged. The universe was not a place of static existence, but a dynamic, interconnected network of potential realities, and humanity had just taken its first steps in becoming true cosmic participants. The Horizon Explorer hung in the Crimson Nebula, a testament to a journey that had changed everything.